Hello guys, and welcome to a video I will actually do a commentary on. I'll comment on things and sorry, my brain died. I'll comment on things I think I did good and bad this game. So I'll let you guys know, and I'll try to give you the best point of view from what my mind was going through yesterday, because I have a really good memory and I remember most timestamps if I rewatch them or consider them in past games. So hope you guys enjoy it, and I want to highlight this game in a specific moment, which is later in the game. So I hope you guys enjoy that. So let's get down to it once the game starts loading. I'm gonna increase the speed of the video because it's really long. It's 40 minutes. So I'm gonna change the speed back and forth for us to actually captivate the moments that matter, not the ones with the dead time. Then I might pause and explain some things as we get along further into the game or in crucial moments. Here I'm kind of AFK because I'm either getting a drink or doing something else, I have no idea. I head into the lane, my team wanted to invade, which they did, and I try to scout whether someone is covering mid to see if he might be going towards the Wraiths where they're at. In that case we would have pinched him and killed him if Xerath were to approach his Wraiths. The lane is pretty standard, as you guys can tell. I analyze from his his first Q was towards the entire wave. So this meant that I analyzed him that he wants to shove the wave, and this makes me want to shove the wave and maintain it as well, so it doesn't crash in my turret, because then I need to waste way more mana and potentially take HP. Lose HP, as I'm more vulnerable to poke and autos, as I have to CS under tower. So since he's shoving the wave instead of poking me, I consider it I'm a maintain and shove it and keep it equilibrium around here. And as you guys can see, we're both CSing and basically maintaining the wave. I'm kiting back as I hit it, so I don't get hit. Here he hit the Q because he saw my character auto attacking, so I couldn't move, and he put centered, so after my auto attack finished he had 100% hit chance. So there was nothing I could do about getting hit there. And I even said it in the video that it was a good Q by him. He keeps on CSing and trying to shove out the wave, as do I. Here he walks up because he wants to auto attack me, so this one can crash and I can potentially lose the gold, which I mentioned early on, and we basically keep doing this for a while. He goes again to Q the wave, and I tried my best to shove out the wave as well. I angle my Q on every low minion. I save blue for the cannon because I don't really want to fail it. Here I Q the minions. He basically puts his W. Here I hoped that Vi would be coming from the top side, but she went bottom and ganked because Tali invaded and Tali went top. So I hoped Vi would be around this area, because then Tali would have successfully wasted a lot of her time, but unfortunately they get our bot lane and our bot lane ends up dying to her. Luckily, if I remember correctly, yeah, they get Tali, so it's fine. It's a 1-for-1 across each map, and mid lane is just shoving out again, really standard, where we both just basically want to shove out the waves. Here I'm usually recalling, no, actually after this wave I usually recall if it's a cannon minion, but since I'm pretty healthy on mana I might not need to. But since I get an early shove, I choose to recall because there's a cannon minion coming on, and then I just get my standard items, I refill my potions, I get a pink, I get Ruby Crystal, I get Dark Seal to bolster the drinking effects because I'm running Time Warp Tonic, and I basically head back to lane relatively healthy. And what's really good with this is if you get to shove the minion wave, as you can see I only lost 2 melees, and I get to reset because Xerath is really hard to play against. in terms of mana management, because he can always replenish his mana from his passive, and that's why you wanna beat him to it and make him maintain or shove the wave, or kind of like mess a lot of spells onto you as you burn his mana, and then you can get ahead of shoving so you can reset. And I only lost 2 minions, which means nothing because I have more gold coming in from the passive than those 2 melee minions that I missed. The only bad thing is the XP, but it's not a huge deal in turn of getting actually resetted. Here I want to shove it. I got delayed there because of the 140 ping, so even though the Q was ready, it was kind of delayed, so I missed that one. I should have autoed it, but here I just angled every creep and I get him. Here I want to keep track on where the players are playing. I watched top lane and I was kind of surprised they died in a 1v2. Especially considering both Tali and Riven has CC, and it's a Queen, she's really squishy, so even if she gets onto one of you, the other one can kill her, as she will have cooldowns. And she will put her Vital proc, I think it's called, onto the target she is. Here bot lane dies again. They're blind to the Vi, which is spotted through the wards, and they basically trade 1 for 2. So for their team, they're focusing heavily on bot lane, as our team are focusing heavily on the top lane. Mid lane is still going back and forth. We're both neither really poking each other, we're just shoving the wave and playing the map. Or not playing the map actually, just watching the map, I meant to say. I accidentally fucked up on my pink, which you guys will notice later on. Usually you want to pink there in case Vi ganks you, and then you can stay at this side because the pink covers here in the Riven if you look at minimap. But the pink is a bit far to left, so I can't see this little angle on the gap, which I will show later on. Here I just go back to lane. We basically both just CSing. I'm actually out CSing the Xerath, so I'm winning mid lane quite handedly in terms of CS, because I get again from my passive a lot of gold. On that minion I actually fucked up. I didn't have enough auto attack damage, so I should have autoed it before the Q. But it's not a huge deal to miss one. Our team almost died again 1v2, which surprised me because now it was Tali almost dying to her. Here I have to flash. I try to bait out and see where he tosses Dar and manage to dodge the last one. I see that the wave is crashing, but then my jungler spam pinks that she's on her way, so I look at the minimap to calculate how far she is at. And I'll also notice that the Vi is level 5, so I don't run a risk of getting ulted. So I'm gonna try to angle my ult so I don't get queued and I can come in a blind spot so we can get her. And this is where I decide to ult behind her. So Tali is then in range and she gets fully comboed, and the Vi gets perma CC'd into 100 to 0. Xerath tries to cancel my recall, which I just... I basically was like, oh, piss off me yesterday, as it was going through my mind. Then it was basically standard, just going back to lane. Like, there isn't much to take out from Lanephase ever since I analyzed him, that he actually wants to CS rather than poke me. And that's pretty much it on how Xerath wants to play the lane. And as TF, I'm not really too discontent with Xerath if he just wants to farm the lane, since it's a free matchup for TF as well to farm up, and that's really nice. Here was the moment I was speaking of earlier. I couldn't see the Vi out of the ward, which I'm gonna see now. Is the ward was a bit too far to the left. It should have been here, so it covers this area, but she got through the gap a bit, and she managed then to just gank me mid, which I then illustrate here because I was talking about it in the replay. No, I mean during my death, not the replay, because this was live at the time. I'm close to Rod of Ages, so it kinda sucked dying there. At least I get magical footwear as I head back into lane. Tali manages to solo the Xerath out. I get to have the majority of the wave anyway. And then she goes in and face checks even though she knew Vi was there. And we had vision of Morgana too, I believe. And Riven needed to roam down, else if I check it I die as well, because Vi just insta-pops one of us, or Morgana binds us and then we're comboed to death. So she shouldn't have ever checked that to try to salvage her blue. It was better to leave the blue, as if white was my decision not to walk there at all. Especially since it's up to Riven to walk there. Like, if Riven doesn't walk up there, we have no one to actually tank it for us, because we're really squishy, Tali and me. I shove out, and then I get Rod of Ages, because I get the gold. And Xerath died by Tali, so I have like a soft reset, so I don't lose too much as I head back into lane. I again just lose 2 melee minions out of it, and then I proceed to shove again. Like, the lane has become pretty standard until now. Now is the only exception when he is actually starting to poke me a bit more. Here her wall kind of got a bit unlucky on the Xerath, so it bumped him out but left a gap on the escape, and then instead of holding her toss, she actually threw it, because she could have waited as Xerath was walking back and forth trying to predict and dodge it. But if she held her toss, I could have gained the distance enough to actually stun him myself. Then he would have cleansed and we would have killed him, because as long as she doesn't throw it out, he can't pass this little wall. No, this little space, which the wall didn't block off as he was in that area, and it bumped him upwards. But if she tosses the wall and misses it, he just walks through it and he remains safe. But if she holds it, we can just use it as the threat that if you pass this area, you're dead, because I'm just gonna knock you back in. But she used it, so we can't really use it as more pressure of the threat of it being up, so we can kill him without using it. Because sometimes CC isn't good to toss out at all, since if you toss it, you don't have the threat or the pressure of it anymore. And this is a perfect example to show that. Bot lane dies again. Like, this game became about Tali ganking top and me ganking no, I mean Vi ganking bottom. Here I wanted to participate because I haven't had any really roams. I've just been CSing with Xerath, since top lane has been ganked a lot too. But bot lane has been really hard to gank, as there's a Morgana and my bot lane are losing really heavily. So even if I were to gank, I'm afraid that we might lose 3 versus 2 in terms of how far behind they are, and we have an Ezreal and a Janna. They're not really the 2 best champions that can dish out damage nor synchronize with TF in terms of ganks. And then again, there's some Morgana. Here they miss out things. Xerath oversteps, so he dies for free. And then Quig gets really greedy to try and get the Tali, and we get a 2-for-1, which is really nice. Then Janna again kills herself for no reason, because she comes up mid in an unwarded area and falls victim again to their team. I'm forced to stay here and wave clear because their bot lane is around, and Ezreal dies again to Vi because he's shoving too far out, and it's a really fun bot lane to have at this point, as they are causing problems for us and they're getting ganked a lot. Which you can tell, like, Ezreal is sitting on 2 deaths and Janna on 4. So they're sitting on 6 out of the 9 deaths on the team. Here I'm recalling, and I hope the Ezreal will hold the wave, because it's easier for him to hold mid than for me to head bottom. But Riven was heading bottom instead, and then I was gonna head top. But Ezreal then changed his direction as well. So my initial plan of heading bot lane got trumped by Riven heading there for some reason, and bot lane is going top lane now because of a wave that would have already died by the time they reach it. So I'm just forced to go mid, so I can't go into a side wave. The Ezreal almost dies to the Quinn. Luckily Tali is there and they clean him up. I dodge and predict Morgana, and it's really easy because I have Boots of Swiftness. And then I proceed to clear the wave again, because it's just important since they're grouping around. And I don't want to let them have tower, because if this tower falls they have too much momentum into cleaning up the rest of our outer turrets, as they're chipping away and trying to get a substantial lead through our bot lane. The only thing we have going for ourselves at this point is I'm doing relatively well in CS and I haven't really been pressured, but I haven't really done much. Our lead comes from Quinn dying constantly because she's vulnerable, and then their lead comes from our bot lane being vulnerable. So even if it looks like we have an advantage at this point, we don't really have a large advantage over the enemy team. I would say they have the better advantage because Vi and Morgana are way easier to execute, and if they go onto the Tali who has the majority of the kills while Riven is forced to be on the side lane, then we're fucked because those are the ones that share the most kills. And Vi can just get black shielded and one shot whoever she wants. Riven now started to die randomly in the game. Our bot lane is still dying all the time. Here I end up dying because I actually had no idea. Okay, so I went to the red and... Wait, let me play the replay first to explain. So here my mouse hovers around this area. I think this area was blue warded or pink because they didn't go onto the Tali, who was low HP waiting in the bush, but they only went randomly instantly in it as soon as I came down. So this must have been worded to spot me going downwards towards the bush. Or that's what I think, because I walked through this one and I didn't really spot any ward unless it was yellow warded. And then I think I survived, but I was CC'd for too long, so Morgana ended up igniting me in the end and I died. I still died with wasting my flash for no obvious reason, as I wanted to spam it out when the CC ended, but the ignite was still on me and I died. At least we traded 1 for 1. Here I go and clear the top wave because Riven is bottom and my bot lane is mid. I just want a power farm still because I still have yet to hit 2 items. Even though Riven is getting caught and I can see 5 of them, I try to shove the wave a bit. And I spot Quinn coming, so I'm trying to angle the Q in case she took that way to try and go on me. I'm waiting here for Tali for us to potentially kill the Quinn, but the Quinn left and we tried to shove and get the tower. But then Quinn comes back around, which I thought she took a really weird pathing. And I tried to quickly melt the tower. I tried to ult to get the Sheen proc, and I don't make it in time to pour it away. So Morgana gets around and hits me with Q, but at least I get the tower, so we still trade 2 for 1 with a tower, so it's not too bad. But then again our Ezreal died again, which is been really the story of the game, where our team has been choosing to bully Quinn and their team has been choosing to bully our bot lane. My score doesn't look really impressive, but I'm not really behind or anything. I got Lishbane. I can finally do some realistic damage onto the turret and in team fights, which is fine. I try to go top again because my bot lane and Riven are covering each side again. Tali gets caught and I try to shove out quickly. Wait, am I blind? Oh, I'm on die for free. Yeah, I'm actually retarded. Here I inted because I actually saw them moving up. But I got a bit pissed, I think, because Ezreal died for free after knowing where Tali was. So I think I might have looked on the other side of the minimap on Ezreal instead. The Ezreal has no idea what the fuck he's talking about because he always dies to the same pattern every single time. And here the guy talks about the Queen killing him or the Vi killing him, but he's basically dying for free every time. I tried to have an argument with the guy, but he's actually fucking mental. So it's hard for me to even try to get through to him. I have no idea how I got hit by that Xerath stun because it looked so disproportionate. Like it looked it disappeared, but it hit me on a really bizarre amount of range, and I end up flashing again. That Baron and the game is looking really grim. Our team is still dying with the Riven splitting, and even though the Riven is soaking pressure and pulling people towards her like 2 or 3, our team can't capitalize on it, which is really bad. And our bot lane is still dying for free every time. Okay, so I ulted because I knew Tali might need help on the Draven, but she killed him relatively nicely. And then Riven was chasing, so I wanted to ult and try to get the Seraph or Morgana. And here I was so fucking surprised playing yesterday because I ulted behind the Morgana, which is the correct play. In reality, when she sees me Q or flick my hands in game, it means I'm tossing a card. Whether it's Q or W, she needs to gamble or actually see on the animation itself. But the funny thing is she flashed and then she black shielded herself. So if I actually just proceeded to auto her with the stun, she would have been dead because she's retarded. Which is sad because I can't predict a player being so fucking bad that she's making the incorrect choice. But for some reason she's like, hey, I'm gonna flash then black shield myself. And for some reason it ended up working for her because I wanted to fake with the Q and proc the shield and then stun her, which is the correct play for me. But it worked for her because she's actually retarded, so, you know, coincidence that she survives. Yay. We managed to at least stall the inhibitor being taken for now. Here Jenna almost died again getting caught. And yeah, it's like I've been saying, the bot lane keeps doing the same thing over and over. Here I wanna try to get the lane shoved so they can't use the mini wave in case they want to push. And then I proceed to recall because we saw most of them being around mid. So I was pretty sure no one would be able to come and kill me where I was standing. Since I want to delay the waves for them to crash in so they can't use them to shove and pressure to end the game. Because I want our bot lane and myself to still scale to a point where the game becomes more manageable. Because they still run a glass cannon team comp just as we do, and I want them to fuck up and do a mistake so we can actually turn and try to win the game or capitalize on it to further delay the game. Here I try to walk up. I'm still trying ways to get gold. My team here fights for no fucking reason at all, which pisses me off again. Here they get caught. My ult only comes now up, but the team fight is over. And they basically die again for no fucking reason at all, trying to defend. And we got wave clear too, that's the sickening part, like they still keep on dying when only Vi can engage. And if Vi engage, we automatically trade 1-for-1 if she ults into the tower. Their Janna basically kills herself by walking forward because she's, you know, PogChamp in the head. Just like Ezreal has been the entire game, so there's nothing really to comment more about the bot lane. They're showing time and time again that they're really talented and good players individually. I managed to get Quinn because Quinn is also special, so we have 2 special people that have 1 special people in their team. And yeah, the game keeps going back and forth, but the enemy team have the advantage and they're the ones that basically have the first move in terms of chess to try and corner us or bring us whatever the fuck we want. Oh yeah, the Ezreal said that they won bot lane. Even though they did well 2v2, they didn't win because every time they did take a fight, Vi was there to kill them. And they traded always 1 for 2. That's not winning bot lane. Like, sure, you win it once you start with 1 and 0, right? But then you both die to the jungle, it becomes a 1 for 2 trade. You're not winning it. Here Tali wants me to bait the Draven. I thought I was faster than him, but I guess I was wrong. So I tried to flash stun him, but we still ended up taking the tower. Because we saw how they were playing on top side, and 2 of them actually managed to die somehow from our team. No, Tali killed Quinn on bot lane and then Vi fucked up on top. So I thought I'd push the 2 towers mid. Here we get 2 picks. Okay, let's actually roll back this a bit. Here the Vi ends up dying on the minimap. And I basically, at this point, I see Draven and Morgana. I know Riven is nearby. But then I'm like, wait. Instead of going for them, I can go for this guy, right? But Xerath flashes. I try to proc the shield. Then I see Riven running in while Tali is flanking, and the Riven is almost dying for free, which she ends up dying for free. And then Tali dies on the flank. So basically our 2 most fed members fucked up because they could have pensed it more cleanly. And then I end up chasing 2 because I want to get the Draven, as Morgana has no cooldowns, she has no shield. Further, so if we can proc and kill Draven, the situation will be okay. But Quinn manages to come back from base and it ends up really poorly for us. So it's just really frustrating in the fashion both Riven and Tali went in. They cleared the Janna and then Ezreal dies again, PogChamp. What a surprise, you know. Story of the game, boys. They get another Baron and the game is looking really dark. The Quinn is backdooring our mid inhibitor, which looks kind of funny because at this point I prayed to the minions, go kill Quinn please, but it's more of a sarcastic thought because they don't have enough damage to actually kill her. The Vi is now talking with Quinn in the all chat, if I remember correctly, because they were like, oh my god, yeah, camp top lane, PogChamp, bot lane is winning the game for us. It's like, no, our bot lane is winning the game for you because they keep getting caught all the time. And even though my stats are not looking really impressive or farm at this point, I'm just holding on my best to try and proceed and make decisions on the game. The only decision I had a major to was early game when I was 0, 1 and 4. And I managed to gank top quite a few times. And then I managed to take the 2 towers mid when Vi died by mistake in top side, and then Tali run Queen prior to the second Baron play. So I hadn't had a much impact on the game yet because of how the game was going, but those were still my kind of accomplishments as of yet. So I was still going for the objective game. Oh yeah, I took the T2 on top lane as well. So I was more playing the objective game and trying to farm up and waiting for them to do a mistake. Here we lose 2 inhibs, and then I'm watching the minimap. I'm like, fuck, there's an Infernal up. Obviously the enemy team will go for the Infernal, so I thought, maybe I can backdoor from top lane, right? But Quinn recalls and she picks up the wave. Here I start complaining a bit on the stream because I thought if Tali, Wald or Riven managed to catch them and I can ult in, we had a 5v4 and that would have been a good choice even if Quinn isn't really too fed at this point. She only has like 3 items like me or something, maybe even less. That a 5v4 is still a 5v4, and if we can kill them we get the Infernal Dragon, right? But the game ends up not going that way. So they get the Infernal Dragon and the game proceeds. They now want to group top lane, which is understandable. The Riven dies for free and I'm basically thinking XD because Riven has died multiple times herself splitting, even though me and Tali babysit her. She didn't really perform. And hang on, let's slow the replay a bit. Here's the game where it actually becomes more interesting. So Riven sees them, he sees the Scrying Orb, he sees Morgana, and he actually goes for Morgana when he sees the Riven there. So he ends up because he ints. He ends up dying because he ints. Yeah, the Ezra build, they had full AD damage except the Xerath. And he went Trinity, which isn't okay. But Blade versus 5 squishes, they have no tank. Just a really bad choice. So here the Tali managed to get the Quinn, which was fine. Quinn was retarded, Riven was retarded. But here is where the game starts to get interesting. So I managed to hit a Q on them, which started the initial poke. Vi charges in here for no fucking reason at all. I see it with my card, so I chase her and stun her immediately, which is good, because now we get her GA, and this is where it's my time to shine, because I've been waiting the entire game for them to do a fucking mistake, and I'm like, holy shit, this is it. This is where my decision making and how I abuse people's mistake in like mid diamond as how I separate me from these people, because they keep doing these kind of mistakes. So the Vi respawns and she dies. The Tali immediately goes in. I want to go in, but obviously I'm waiting for my cooldowns. So I look at the minimap, I start ulting, and I'm like, where can I ult? And I see them being zoned towards here, so I can cut them by running this, or eventually also flash on them, because I know my team and they're on this side. I stun the Xerath. We managed to quickly get him. I'm like, go team, go. I stunned the Draven as well. Morgana late shields him, but with the black shield he cleanses his QSS, and then we chase them down, and then we get Morgana as well. And I'm like, at this point I'm like, XD. Obviously Ezreal had to die, right? Because that's, you know, that's what he's good at. Or that's what the game has told us. And in my head I'm like, finally dude, finally the enemy team make a fucking mistake I can hard carry on with TF, because I just stun them, I ult, I stun another guy, I flash and stun a third guy, and then we trade Ezra for Morgana and I stun a fourth guy, right? So I'm just keep tossing them stuns out. And it started with stunning Vi, stunning Xerath, stunning Draven, then stunning Morgana. Here I recall like an idiot, and I died to the Quinn, because Quinn should never do this. I should never be there as well, because I don't know, I didn't expect her to come there. I could have just safely recalled away, but they don't really get anything from it. Quinn is useless anyway, and I have enough of time to respawn before they run down if they want to take the mid inhibitor. So me dying there isn't really essential to the game by any means. But I felt that the turning point was soon, because that team fight was so amazing for me and I just loved to watch it. And yeah, that team fight was just too fucking good. Like, the Vi fucked up and I just capitalized it with my team, and I could show how good TF is in team fights by just stunning, ulting, stunning another guy, and then flashing to stun a third guy. And that's how you play TF in team fights versus this kind of comps, where you show your true value from just stunning them. And that's what I wanted to highlight with this game, when I said at the start of the game that I wanted to show something early on. Here the Xerath kinda fucks up and dies because he's alone with Vi, separated in between their team. So I'm trying to run back and forth to zone these guys that I can stun and pressure, which I end up trying to do. They managed to get 2 of them. I'm gonna look to ult as soon as my card is ready. Now I ult, but I didn't know that Tali would be on this side, and she actually ends up getting killed, and then we trade 1-for-1. Here I try to run around, but I choose against it because Janna is low, Ezreal is still vulnerable, Vi is at half HP, and I don't wanna run at a Draven with a Morgana and stun him, considering Draven has the Black Shield and he's sitting on Scimitar, so I would be an easy target for him to kill if I actually did that and my team didn't follow up. The only good thing is I would be soaking some damage, then press Zonia and hope for them to clean it up, which is really pathetic, but I can't really do much more than that. Here my team are writing that we need to check Baron, so I need to go up with them in case their bot lane is here, but they're not. Luckily, else Janna could have easily been taken down, or they could have burned the GA from Riven. Here I try to stick around to see if case Janna needs help or someone is ambushing her. We clean out the wave, and we basically just soft reset here a bit, try to gather up all the team members. Tali wrote she's full build, which I thought was funny because she's sitting on over 10 kills and I'm only 1 item away from having full build myself. And even though I haven't, it doesn't look like I've done much in this game, I still done my fair share in terms of objective and that crucial team fight, which was the turning point in this game. They managed to catch Draven top lane, which I have no idea why, and here I want to, hang on. Let's just watch that again. Okay, so Draven is showing that he's walking top for no reason at all. So Riven is waiting there, Tali is coming around, they spotted Draven and then they get Draven. And since Draven died, I wanted to see if Quinn or someone else was nearby, and I have no idea why I thought Quinn would be here on the minimap, because he was around where Morgana is. So she just fully rotated around. So she probably wanted to do split push pressure, and I'm like, Quinn is weak, right? And I even spot her tossing the Q, so she has no way of blinding me. So I just go for her, and I know I can one-shot her. So I just wait, I stun her, and then I wait for my Lich Bane for the second Lich Bane. But my damage was just too much and she died before I even autoed her with the second Lich Bane. And here the Tali is trying to run it down and actually gap close on them. She managed to get Xerath, which is really good and surprised me. And then she ends up dying because they were 1 versus 3 and Janna had a bit of a problem to try and get to her and reset with her ult. And I basically see that Morgana is here for free. And then we managed to get Morgana as well. And at this point their death timers are just too large. And I end up deciding, okay team, let's go. And at this point I'm like, fuck, we did it, dude. And from my point of view, I was thinking it all started from that team fight where I basically abused their mistakes, because ever since then we've been winning team fights really hard. And Tali played really well. The Riven, our bot lane, had some questionable plays. But that's pretty much it. Here our team had a problem with finishing the game. Like they wanted to still auto attack people, and it ended up being a bit too close because Riven was going on Draven, Quinn was picking off one guy, Draven was picking off one guy. So I was like, please just finish the fucking game. So I wanted to Zonia and bait the Quinn Q, and then after the Zonia I flashed and pressed a spell so I could do an empowered auto before I die, and luckily that was enough with an additional auto and with Riven auto. But yeah, that was pretty much the game. So if I have to comment why I wanted to do a like slight commentary on this game, was to show that even if you have like a slow game on TF where your team is hindering you from making plays, there's always something happening on one side at the map as they're happening on the opposite. Because Vi was focusing on our bot and Tali was focusing on their top lane. So there happened a plus and minus for both teams. Both teams played it relatively slow and farmed up. I chose objectives early game prior to the team fight that ended up being really good, where I could exploit Vi's mistake, which ended up having a huge impact in the game, because that was kind of like the turning point where our team actually started to win out in single fights. And then the dynamic of the game kind of shifted towards our team, and we managed to close out the game, which was really nice. So I hope you guys like the game. My commentary shit, I know. There's no audio because it's copyrighted, the music, so I couldn't have the audio on, unfortunately. So I was just watching the point of view from the live YouTube stream I had yesterday. So if you guys enjoyed the video, you can always like and subscribe, and if you have any questions, you can always mention it in the comment section below. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the other videos or on future streams. Bye.